What's going on, guys? JC Nita here, and it's a new year, 2025, but unfortunately, so far, it seems like more of the same. Layoffs in 2025. Let's talk about it.
2025, I'm gonna need a refund because this year sucks already. I just got laid off for basically the second time back to back. If you didn't know, I worked at Twitter and I got laid off when Shmilon Shmusk acquired the company. Since then, I've been working at a content strategy agency type place as a director of strategy, and I just got laid off yesterday. It's surreal because I definitely didn't want to go through another layoff. Being laid off the first time was one of the most traumatic events that have ever happened to me, especially because it happened so publicly. This time was obviously a little bit different, but the company lost some clients, and now here I am without a job.
Okay, I was just going to ask, okay, she got laid off the first time. I get it. Twitter was taken over by Elon Musk or bought by Elon Musk, and he did a lot of cuts. And that's typical for Elon Musk. Not to say that, that's just his philosophy. That's what he does. He owns a business. It's his prerogative. Okay, fine. Then she gets laid off from the second company. Now I'm starting to think, is it her or is it the companies? Because something's not sounding right. So she says it's because the company she went to work for next lost a bunch of clients. Okay, fair enough. So let's see. I don't know. Because after a certain amount of time, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what is it that I'm doing maybe that's causing me to be laid off? Like I said, let's let her go a little bit more and see what she talks about.
It's hard not to reevaluate my life choices at this point. I work in tech, and so I'm wondering if that's still what I should be doing. It's hard to feel like secure in a job anymore. It feels like those days are over. So I don't know if I should be in tech anymore or working this corporate life. I love the security of having a stable job, but um, that hasn't been the case for quite some time for me because it's just been so unstable in the industry. So um, I'm considering other options, obviously. I had a while.
So you know what's crazy? As she was speaking, I'm like, you know what? If you want something stable, maybe look at the type of companies you're working for. Don't go work for a startup. Don't go work for a big tech company. Go work for like the federal government. And then I thought, oh, wait a second. The federal government's having a bunch of layoffs, or not layoffs, but for all intents and purposes, they're forcing people back into the office, and they're doing that because they want them to quit. So they're doing a roundabout layoff. And they're trying to become more efficient. So I can see some rifts coming on long in the future. So it's kind of funny and ironic. Not funny, more so I'm not sure the word for it, but the idea that you could say take her tech skills and go work for a federal agency to have that job security doesn't really seem like it's a thing anymore. So maybe what I recommend is go to work for a state agency or maybe a local agency somewhere, because a lot of the times those jobs tend to be a little more stable and offer a little bit more security, or go work for maybe something in education. But as far as going to work for a big tech company, it seems like, those are the companies in the news for laying a lot of people off. Tech's had a hard year in 2024, and they may have a hard year in 2025. Again, it was all these pre-COVID, or I should say post-COVID layoffs, because during the COVID season, there was massive hiring and over-hiring of tech workers. Not to mention, we have AI coming on the scene that's taking some jobs, especially when it comes to programming and things of that nature. So it's going to be a little bit tough of a road. So people in tech have to figure out what they're going to do. So, and she's right in that boat. So let's see what 2025 has to offer for our tech working friends.
So first, Zuckerberg says, okay, we're going to lay off 5% of the workforce because we need to get rid of these like low performers. Okay, we all know that. Then the CEO of LVMH, the fifth richest man in the whole world, said, oh yeah, I talked to Mark about that. And basically saying like, I support that initiative because you have to, do that when you're running a company. Fine. Then he says, no, but they weren't really being laid off. He comes up with this term. He calls it promoted outwards. Like just when I thought it could not get more dystopian, promoted outwards, this man is going through something. Okay, so Zuckerberg says, I've decided to raise the bar on performance management and move out low performers faster. And if you guys don't know, LVMH had acquired Tiffany's in 2021. I had seen that he had called it a sleeping beauty and didn't really understand what he was saying. But basically, he's saying it was a sleeping beauty, aka there were a bunch of people sleeping and they need to be woken up. And the people who don't want to wake up are getting pushed out. It's like when you're used to sleeping for 10 years and all of a sudden you're asked to become fierce, some people can't. Okay. Then there's this reference where it's like, I guess at Amazon, some people describe layoffs as unregretted attrition. What is with the lingual gymnastics here? Like, just say what it is. Why are we trying to sanitize this? Why are we trying to change the language so that people don't like, what is this?
I think they're doing it for us millennials and Gen Z who are softies. And I'm saying us just to kind of soften what I'm saying. But, there's a whole stereotype about millennials and Gen Z that we're kind of weak-minded and we're not tough. So they're using all these fancy words and I'm sorry, but I'll be honest, it's kind of funny. I mean, promoted outwards. I mean, that's some nasty work. That is some linguistic gymnastics right there. And Sleeping Beauty. What is the last thing she said? I don't remember. I forget. But the point is, they're using all this terminology, I think, to pacify or to ease the sting to what they believe is a weaker generation, I think. Well, maybe they just want to protect. They're trying to keep their brands looking good in the media during the time where they're doing something that is not favorable. So I think that might be part of it too. And listen, let's be honest. What they're doing is nothing new. Cutting out the bottom 10% of workers that aren't providing as much value to the company's bottom line, while it sounds bad, is what companies do. They're there to make a profit. They're not there to give you a check for free or for nothing. So, I mean, you know, again, I'm not sitting here as if I don't run one of these companies. I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone else, but you know, I also understand I see their company side. So again, in 2025, and this is not just 2025, this is any year. If you want to, or maybe 2025 is more of a, is more obvious because now, because the job market's so tight, because there's a lot of, interest rates are still high and things are getting tougher with, like I mentioned before, AI, different technology coming onto the scene, it's more fierce. It's a dog eat dog situation. So if you're in the job market looking for a job or you currently have a job, especially in the private sector, and again, even in federal employees now aren't safe. You know what I mean? As far as just sliding by, just doing the bare minimum and collecting a check. So you have to really go out there and grind now. And that's the nature of the 2025 job market. So, and again, it's only February 1st right now, as at the time of me recording this video. So we're gonna see what the rest of the year holds. But it's looking kind of tough out there. So people got to buckle up and get ready to work hard.
Put a finger down if you got laid off in December and have now been searching for jobs for 2 months and you've only gotten to the final, like last final deny or accept to two interviews with two places and both of them denied you. So now you're in the beginning stages of everything and are back to square one. And your lease is actually up in March, the end of March. So they want to raise your rent $1,000. So you can either stay and pay your rent with the increase of $1,000 because you have no income to be able to sign another lease or a guarantor or pay $6,000 to get a guarantor, or you can move home. Um, and oh, and your nana is losing her memory and starting to get dementia, and your boyfriend broke up with you last.
So we're gonna just go ahead and end this because this is getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know what's going on in her life. I think she might have walked under a couple ladders, picked up the penny on the wrong side, broke some glass. I don't know, whatever the other things are you do to get bad luck because there's a lot is going on here. But this video is about the job market. So let's focus on that. She said she got two job no, not offers. She got two like final rounds of two job processes for interviews and didn't get either one. She didn't really elaborate on that. I don't know what happened, but again, more of the same. People are going through hoops. They're going through multiple rounds of interviews just to not get the job at the end. Why is that? Competition. They're interviewing many people and they're putting people through hoops because they can't, because there's a lot of people that want the same job. And so they can just kind of sit back and make them all fight like Hunger Games. So that's kind of what's going on now. And but I have to touch on this because it blew me away. $1,000 increase in rent. I mean, what in the world? Where does she live? Is this even legal? I mean, that's a lot. That's crazy to me. So to answer your question, Jess, move back home. Because if you don't have a job right now and the rent's gonna increase by $1,000, yeah, that's crazy. That's a no. But yeah, just more of the same. 2025 job market. I made this video for that reason. Um, Again, is this doom and gloom? Is it really that bad? We'll see. It's only February, but based upon what these people are talking about, not looking too nice.
I think the hardest part of being laid off is really realizing that these people are just not your friends. I worked with these people for 2 years. I got laid off in August. It is now the end of January. I have not heard from anybody, like not one person. But what I can see is them looking at my LinkedIn, like stalking my LinkedIn. I could see you when you do that. But it's like you work with these people for years and they don't care about you. But then on the other hand, if you aren't social with them, then you're a bitch and you are also on the chopping block. So you can't win. No, I was not laid off due to any performance. Like, in fact, my performance was phenomenal. Like, I blew it out the water. I know my salary was a little bit higher than everyone else's, so I'm just going to chalk it up as that. But when you're either not personable enough or too personable, you will always be on the chopping block, especially if you're a person of color. Like, I have to. So I got to overlaugh, overperform, go to these happy hours that I probably don't even want to go to because honestly, I don't like drinking at work no more. All for y'all to just forget about me. Like, I have to create fake friendships that take my energy from my real people for y'all really not to give two craps about me. Anyway, I'm interviewing today.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I mean, I hear what she's saying about having to fake it and code switch essentially and overdo it because of how you look. I mean, I understand that, right? But I mean, that's just the name of the game. It is what it is. And maybe that's amplified in a job market like we're in now, or like we've been in for a while, I should say, which just seems to be the same for 2025. You gotta do more. And that goes for a lot of things. You gotta do more if you're older and if you're making more money. Like she said, she thinks the reason she got laid off, or she suspects, is that she was being paid more than other people, which if that's the case, yeah, the company wants to cut costs where they can. So if you're doing similar work to other people, but they're paying you more for it and they can get rid of you, they might do it. It is what it is. And she's saying that she has to fake be friends with people, and then when she gets fired, no one's her friend. Well, if you think about it, if she's faking it to be friends with them, what are they doing? Maybe the same thing. Maybe they're faking it and kikiing because you're working together, but then once that work relationship is severed, there's no reason to do it anymore. And the reason they're stalking you on LinkedIn is because they're just being nosy. They want to see, oh, where is she at now? Where is she land? Is she still unemployed? What's going on with her? Not really because they care, maybe, but probably just because they're being nosy. Let's be honest. So, but she has a point. Listen, I mean, it's harder sometimes for different people. It can be for many reasons. And you have to turn it on. You have to go above and beyond and overperform in a lot of cases to be at the same level with some other people, perhaps. But it's just the way the world is. No reason to complain about it. So, but I mean, again, good point still. It's another added layer because this is not something you normally think about when you think about layoffs. Is the interpersonal dynamic of the work environment. You think mostly of the performance of getting the job done, which is the most important thing. But there's also that work dynamic. Are you fitting into the company culture? If you're not, then that's another reason for them to say, hey, boom, you're gone. Because again, they might be looking for any reason to cut you because they need the, they're looking at their bottom line and their budget and things are tough. Don't give them a reason. So with that being said, guys, let's see what happens in the 2025 job market. People are getting laid off apparently, and they're coming on TikTok to rant about it. And, like I said, in my circle, I know people personally who have been laid off recently, multiple people actually, very close to home. And it's an unfortunate situation. A lot of them were laid off around the holiday season, around Christmas time, which is one of the worst times to be laid off. So, I mean, and they're still unemployed right now. So, you know what I mean? So let's see what 2025 has in store. And let's all just hang on for this wonderful ride. But hopefully things turn up and let's remain optimistic. With that being said, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you. If you made it this far and you got any value or any entertainment from the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so too inclined. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.